Welcome to this new and special edition of the Queer God Squad. We are the coolest pastors you'll ever meet.
Faith and religion can be complicated for the LGBTQ plus community. Survey shows that evangelical faith is the justification for the greatest attacks on the LGBTQ plus community.
So, the Queer God Squad is going to explore our religious community, explore the big news of the day and what it means to you.
And we are going to explore if we can find some places that help heal the pain and hurt that religion can be responsible for. We know you are going to find some hope, peace, and fun in our conversation.
It's 3 p.m. and the Queer God Squad is broadcasting daily.
This is live, and then we are available on demand.
We are available on all smart televisions, including Roku, Apple TV, Android TV, Amazon Fire TV, YouTube, and Facebook.
In the entire world, nothing like this has ever existed for the LGBTQ plus community before.
I am Reverend Dr. Darrell Watkins, the senior minister here at Sunshine Cathedral.
I am the Reverend Dr. Robert Griffin, the executive minister here at the Sunshine Cathedral.
I am Reverend Dr. Ann Atwell, the Minister of Connections here at Sunshine Cathedral.
I am Reverend Kevin Tisdall, the Minister of Education at Sunshine Cathedral.
Radical GOP and evangelicals have launched a culture war on our LGBTQ plus community. They want to push you back into the closet. We're not going.
At Sunshine Cathedral, we are here to tell you that you are God's miracle, not God's mistake. Our commitment in partnering with Happening Out Television Network and Queer News Tonight is to give the LGBTQ plus faith community this voice for change, for hope that you are not alone.
Happening Out Television Network is a 501c3 nonprofit media platform in the television and radio model of PBS and NPR, but designed for our LGBTQ plus community. The Queer God Squad is part of one of the largest LGBTQ plus media companies in America. Excuse me. Hotspots Magazine and Happening Out Television Network.
Our mission is to support the 10 pillars of the LGBTQ plus community, including the Black community, Latino, lesbian and queer women, trans, students and youth, seniors, HIV/AIDS healthcare, justice, business, and our 10th pillar is faith. Help us support our LGBTQ plus community. This is the Sunshine Cathedral perspective. Some see Barbie as a retelling of humans leaving Eden. Questions about gender and sexuality plague the evangelical church. Books on the topic are proliferating. In that context, it's understandable that some folks see the new Barbie film as another volley in the gender wars. But Greta Gerwig's latest project is far too layered to be read through a literalist hermeneutic. Rather than offering a blind affirmation of feminism or a critique of the patriarchy, the movie explores how we use ideology to bypass the messier work of growing as humans. Consider Ken's character arc. Forever condemned to be just Ken, he finds his identity through his relationship with her. He follows her into the real world, one where men rule, but more importantly, feel seen and valued. Ken carries this idea back to Barbie Land as a shortcut to his own growth. The movie tracks with Christine Emba's recent observations that modern men are in a widespread identity crisis, as if they didn't know how to be. This loss of self, she argues, is what fuels the popularity of right-wing masculinity. Eventually, Ken reckons with the roots of his discontent, which are less about social order and more about an abdication of self through posturing and performative identity. Barbie's journey, too, is directed away from gender stereotypes and toward a mature personhood. But unlike Ken, who learns his own value, she learns to embrace her own imperfection. Both Barbie and Ken venture beyond plastic tropes to discover their full and sexed humanity. The movie is kind of a retelling of the fall. In both Genesis and Barbie, a prototypical woman reaches for forbidden knowledge and then offers it to her male companion. Both are met by a loss of innocence and exiled from perfection. I'm going to share something with all of you. I've not seen Barbie.
Me neither.
I have not seen Barbie. I know. And I got to tell you, I don't care to see Barbie. I've heard quite a lot about Barbie from friends that have seen it. I've read a lot of articles about it. I've seen a lot of it on Facebook and other social media, and I've not seen Barbie. A couple of things on that. So this is just my impression, my opinion. I'm not surprised at the evangelical comment, because the evangelical church as a whole, and many churches as a whole, will do anything that they can to discredit women, to bring them down a peg. So to put it out there that the Barbie movie also represents the fall, okay, they're kind of grabbing at straws here, and they're doing what they can to denigrate women, to bring up Eve again as evil, okay? Barbie, evil? I don't know about that. She's fictitious, but okay, okay.
So was Eve.
Exactly. So
Hello.
Eve was absolutely fictitious. One other thing I want to kind of bring up or point out about the Barbie movie, and it's really why I didn't see it. I'd heard a lot about it, how it kind of brings the patriarchy and misogyny to the forefront. Lesbians and feminists have been doing that for a long time. They've brought this information out for a long time. And what happens? They're called names. They're called angry dykes, man haters, that kind of thing. But if you take that same message and wrap it in pink,
Hello.
does that make it better? It seems to. It's a top movie. Let's take this message that a minority group of women have been espousing for a long time and wrap it in pink. And maybe that makes it all pretty. So that's kind of my thought as to why I haven't seen it. Now, when it comes out on streaming, I'll probably watch it. I've heard a lot about it, but I'm not going to go to a movie theater and plunk down my money to see a message that I've been saying for a long time.
I like that.
Yeah.
I was pleased that it was the highest grossing on a first weekend of a movie directed by a woman ever. Now, some people discredited that by saying, well, it was just about controversy. People weren't supporting women. They were just, wanted to see it so I guess they could be mean about it. Whatever, she cashed the check.
There you go.
So-
Good for her. Good for
Right.
her.
And I didn't, I don't know the Barbie world. I do now, I guess, because I saw the movie. But that's just like that. I liked animated things that moved and talked. And Barbie was just a doll, and so I never, cared much about it. And they were always changing. There was Malibu Barbie and Playhouse Barbie,
The dream house and all the stuff. Yeah.
Army truck Barbie. I don't know, all these Barbies. And so I just never, I just thought little kids made up their own stories with it. And apparently there's a lot more to it.
Yeah.
And so, but when I saw that Ryan Gosling was in the movie, I knew I was going to see it. I did. I knew.
Good for you.
I knew. Yeah. And he's beach Ken. And so his job is to be on the beach and beach wear. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm there for this. But meanwhile, he there is a lot going on. And so in Barbie world, women are in charge. And then when Ken sees another world where men are in charge, he's like, oh, see, and he brings it back, and they sort of violently overtake the society to introduce patriarchy as a legitimate philosophy, and it doesn't work out well for anyone. And they're really happy when the women take it back. They're like, I didn't like leading. This is hard work, and so yeah, a lot of fantasy, but it also does show the women, though, when they were in charge, also were men were just on the side. They were just to be pretty. They were just they were treated the way men treat women in real life. And so the back and forth showed you how often the oppressed take on the way of the oppressor when they can. They think that's what justice is. So it was just something to notice. Also, one of the actors, they didn't make a big deal about it, but one of the actors was a transgender actor, a transgender woman. She was just there. And, but of course, in the media, people know, and so conservatives have been super upset that a trans actor got a job. I mean, she's not trans Barbie. She's like, I think Dr. Barbie in this, or psychiatrist Barbie or something. She's just, if you didn't know, you wouldn't know. But that a trans actor got a job, it's a horrible thing for these people. Hari Neff is her name, by the way. And there was a lot when the men were in charge for this little time that Ken's take over Barbie Land, there was a lot of homoerotic energy in that. A lot of playfulness that you don't think about. So I think she probably did that on purpose. And there's this amazing line. There's this big war. The Kens fight each other. They get jealous and fight each other. And it's when they're fighting each other that the Barbies take back over. Divide and conquer. And so while they're fighting each other, they take back over. And then finally, the Kens are like, well, good. It was too much work anyway. We're exhausted. Please just have it. But Beach Ken says, and I thought this was the greatest line, we only were fighting each other because we didn't know who we were. And I thought that was, isn't that it? Aren't we so worried about what you call yourself because we don't know who we are? Aren't we so worried about who you love because we don't know who we are? Aren't we so worried about what you call the divine or the ultimate because we don't know who we are? All of this fighting is because we don't know who we are. And I just thought it was worth the movie to me to hear that one sort of line that Kenny's lost the whole time. But he does have a moment of clarity toward it. He's still kind of an idiot after that. But he does have that super moment of clarity. And I thought, you know what, I'm glad I saw it for this one line. We were only fighting each other because we didn't know who we were.
That'll preach.
Yeah, I was thinking that exact thought.
Excuse me.
You saw it. You saw it.
Yeah, the popcorn was good. There's a lot in there to unpack, I think, and I think there's still going to be some more to unpack with that. Excuse me. And I was amazed when I saw the first article comparing this story to The Fall, this movie to The Fall. I'm like, wow, that's a stretch.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, that's a mythical story in the Bible to begin with. So, okay, let Barbie do it. But I was also fascinated by the different Barbies that I wasn't aware of. So it was good. Go see it. Don't go see it. It's okay. A lot to take away from it.
There's some silliness, as you would guess. I mean, it's a child's doll trying to be made into an adult story, trying to maybe make some points, but also be fun and amusing. I mean, that Barbie is a real thing and comes to life and comes to the real world and causes trouble. That's a silly plot. That's
absolutely.
So, but sometimes I need some silly.
Well, I'm in the and boat. I haven't seen the movie. I will probably watch it when it comes on streaming. My husband will not be in the room because he doesn't like anything animated that comes to life. He watched part of The Lion King with me and walked out. But in terms of
What about the stage production?
he was. Oh no, we've seen the stage.
He liked that?
3 times.
Okay.
Yeah.
But with this whole Barbie thing, I think I was alive when Barbie was invented, when she was first extruded into plastic, and
50s, right?
I was born in the 50s. She's right around that time also. All I remember is that my sister had a couple of those Barbie dolls, and they were so rigid that she really didn't like them. So, and then when they came out with Ken, the person that I am, I took all Ken's clothes off and went, there's something missing. Just saying. The Fall, though, I didn't realize that they were starting to equate that to a biblical moment that didn't ever happen.
Right.
Grabbing at straws.
But, Barbie is Barbie. Watch it, don't watch it. And when it comes on streaming, maybe you and I can get some popcorn and watch it together.
Yeah, but I will say this one thing. You if you watch it close enough, you can find yourself in this movie.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I think you have to pick out which character you are, which side you want to be on, and what is your hope for outcome other than what they left you with in the movie.
Oh.
And
Very
I
good.
think there's also a clarion call with this movie to do right.
Just do right.
Just do right. And I was pleased to see that there were dolls of color.
Yeah.
We all know how that story goes.
Yes.
But there's a lot to unpack, and if you want to get to that side, there's a lot to unpack. But I just, as I continue to think about, I could be that Barbie, or I could be that Barbie, or I really identify with anything other than Ken, the other Ken doll as Barbie. But and it's just fascinating. So yeah.
There was, and I don't remember this on the toy shelves, but there was a Barbie of size. One. But still,
Yeah.
Was it pregnant?
That's kind of more recent.
oh, recent.
Yeah.
So there was a Barbie of size,
Pregnant Barbie.
and she was also, and there was, well, and that was happening. The pregnant Barbie, Do you remember her? It was a big controversy. And the tummy was actually a little baby. And
Yeah,
No,
I do remember
it didn't
that.
last long because
Yeah,
people didn't like it.
it
But
went
she's
on
in the
shelves
movie,
long.
and with the exception of pregnant body, and then there's like crazy Barbie, because all Barbies eventually, especially in certain households, they wind up being just broken and the hair pulled and
pulled
burned.
down.
Frequently cut off, and
Yeah, they had
yeah.
crazy Barbie with all that.
Oh no.
Yeah, so they had every kind of Barbie. But they also addressed the fact that, because in the real world, there's this little feminist little girl, junior high girl or whatever, and when she meets Barbie, she immediately dislikes her. She's like, no, you make women hate themselves and hate their bodies, and they have to be skinny, and they have to be, and she really attacks her for, and of course Barbie's like, oh, I didn't know. She's so innocent, but they actually do talk about like the body shaming and the grooming that takes place with. So anyway, they did, I don't know, for a silly thing. Yeah, they did what she did with a silly thing, I think.
All right.
All right, you've convinced me. I'll see it.
But again, it's just Barbie.
When it
But
plays,
it was,
yeah.
our kid wanted to see it, sweet.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's I'm surprised though that it was controversial, because there's a few good points maybe, and it is kind of silly and it is kind of fun and it is kind of pretty, but that anyone got worked up about,
Yeah.
that's what I'm, And if it does tackle patriarchy, good. We should be doing that every chance we get. But it was a soft takedown of patriarchy, if at all.
But it has to begin somewhere.
Yeah.
That's right.
And
All
maybe
right.
that's the impression that the young kids will get
Begin along.
from these Barbies.
Next up, we are excited to tell you about our next adventure with our global fellowship. In 2024, we will be going where the hills are alive as we explore Austria and Alpine Europe for Gay Oktoberfest. Space is extremely limited, so make sure you go to happeningout.travel/sunshine to reserve your space now.
Would you like to join the Queer God Squad on a special winter cruise in 2024? Well, now you can. You will visit Cozumel, Mexico, Grand Cayman, and Ocho Rios, and you can even add an open bar and Wi-Fi. Join us by going to happeningout.travel/sunshine.
That's today with the Queer God Squad. We want to thank you for joining us. We're here daily at 3 p.m. to have some fun and talk about what our LGBTQ+ community is talking about.
Sunshine Cathedral is the world's largest progressive queer church. Progressive, queer, and God are words that naturally will go together, and we are all in this together. Remember that.
You are God's miracle, not God's mistake.
Until next time, we are the Queer God Squad. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.